Usually we hear only the success stories of AI, like a self-driven car, AI writing beautifully, AI recognizing faces, and a hiring software which could be able to hire people automatically. But on the other side is the complete failure of AI product, like a self-driven car hitting a passenger and killing the passenger, a hiring software which could wrongly identify a person, and a disease recognizing system wrongly classifying a patient's case. When such cases happen, usually people ask, why don't we regulate AI? Just put the limits, put the condition, create a law, and let us AI be safe. Quite sensible, quite reasonable. But there is the issue. Is it regulating AI is so simple? In this episode of Truly AI, we discuss why regulating AI is not that easy. Welcome each one of you to this episode of Truly AI. I am Dr. C.B. Abraham. Consider this as the AI. For example, consider this as ChatGPT is the basic version. For simplicity, let us call it as AI1. Then gradually the better version came. It could be able to deal with much better language operations. We call it as AI2. Then later better version came. Not only one language, different languages could be able to be made. Suppose we call it as 3. Then later, not only the text, it could be able to deal with even the images. We call it as the version 4. And suppose later it could be able to deal with audio, then video, it could be able to deal with the reasoning, and it could be able to also deal with what are called agentic functions. Agentic AI could be able to be done, and corresponding to its better versions, latest version, the power and the capability of the AI changed. This is not only true for GPT, it is true for all AIs. The scope and the scale and the power and capability of AI increases. Now we talk about the regulation. The experts are called and they have a committee is formed and they sit for meetings, and correspondingly the deliberation starts and people share their insights, their experiences, their know-how, and lot of discussion, lot of debates, and they could able to start the process of creating a regulation. They define what is the problem and what it is impacting, and correspondingly a basic draft is made, and that draft is shared with experts outside, and the feedback is taken, and finally after lots of deliberations a final draft regulation is ready. Meanwhile, it could be able to deal with better versions of AI, newer versions came, and better capability. The regulations for what? The previous versions of it that has already become outdated. This is the basic issue happening in the case of regulation. By default, by design, regulations are slow in process. As far as technology is concerned, by nature, it is very fast. There is a speed mismatch between the regulation as well as the technological changes. That is the major issue faced by AI regulation. Yes, we have to move fast as far as the regulation is concerned in order to catch up with the technological change. Let us start with the definition. We want to define AI. What is AI? This is a big question. What AI we are talking about? Is it the self-driving car? Is it the text summarization? Is the chatbot giving answers? Is the face recognizer? Whether you talk about the filters which could be able to filter resumes in a typical HR stage, and whether the recommendation systems like Amazon, are we talking about all these AI? Suppose we want to include everything, then we need to have such a big framework which will be able to take care of all AI. The issue is that even simple tasks like searching or some sort of a simple queries might be part of it, and it will be regulating each and every our online activities. And suppose we do not want this to happen, we want to have only small parts to be taken. Suppose we take only this into consideration. Then in this case, what happens is that some of the major AI applications might be getting lost in the process. Also, many times it is a moving case. Whatever AI initially, that will be become much different thing, and it is changed, or some of the AI are outdated, and this always in a catching phase in order to understand what exactly AI is. And this is one of the major issues faced by regulation of AI. Suppose somehow we could be able to give the first draft of the regulation. This is the AI, same AI model, but it is used by different users. Here, for example, we have 3 different users. A student using this AI in order to get help for studies, especially for mathematics problem to be solved. Second, a company uses resume filter in order to select candidates. And third, a facial recognition system in order to identify the correct people. Depending upon the usage, the respective risk also changes. Suppose there is some issue with respect to this model, and when it is used by the student, obviously learning takes a backseat, and correspondingly student will learn something wrong, and there is a risk involved. Such a risk may be a low risk. Here it is low risk. Suppose with respect to resume filtering, there is a issue with respect to the AI working. Such an AI might select a wrong candidate, a good candidate might be discarded in the process. Such a risk might be moderate. With respect to the third one, that means the facial recognition, then a person may be wrongly identified or misclassified and discarded, and such a error or such a risk may be of high risk. Therefore, there can be 3 different types of risk: low risk, moderate risk, and the high risk, depending upon the usage of the same model, same tool. Also, depending upon the situation, low risk may become moderate, and that may become the high risk. Remember, the model change, new volumes came, the capabilities change, power of the tool changes, and correspondingly the risk factor also changes. Therefore, here is the big question comes: what are we going to regulate? Is the model we are going to regulate, or the usage we are going to regulate, the impact we are going to regulate, the context we are going to regulate, or the consequences we are going to regulate? This is a major issue we face in the case of AI regulation. This is the AI. It is developed in one country, deployed from some other country, and could be able to be accessed across the globe. Suppose these are the different countries which access the facilities, power and capabilities of the same AI. Suppose one particular country is not happy with the services of that AI, and it could be able to ban it, and obviously that facility will not be available in that country, but it is available in all other countries. And in this way, we could be able to stop the working or ban the facilities of AI in one particular country or a collection of countries, depending upon the local requirement, local concerns, and local culture. But it is very difficult to ban or stop or regulate the working of AI across the globe, because we do not have a common set of rules, regulations, or culture or concerns. Whose rule we are talking about, whose culture we are talking about, which countries' rules we are talking about. AI is working globally, but regulations and rules working in local. Therefore, local global mismatch between the country and the technology is creating a big issue as far as the AI regulation is concerned. This is one of the aspects which is not generally considered. every regulation controls the flow. If you keep it very tight, there is a complete stoppage. The innovation stops. Smaller players are affected, and only big players will be able to survive. If you make it very light, there is a chance of spilling over. More players can come into the picture, and there is a good chance of misuse. Therefore, we have to make a trade-off between the complete control and complete liberality, and we need to regulate the flow. Only we could be able to manage it. It is very difficult to find the exact trade-off between the how much innovation required and how much is the regulation required. That makes the regulating AI is that much difficult. We have seen that AI risk changes from low to moderate to high risk, and also we have seen that it is very difficult to control the flow. Only we could be able to manage the flow corresponding to the change or the upgradation of the AI, and that learning, that means corresponding to the changes, try to manage the risk less is the only thing we could be able to do. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please consider liking, sharing and subscribing the channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Until then, truly AI.